Hi, my name is Mason Willett, and I, alongside Tim Clay, Taylor Dunn, and Nathan Martin, created All Voices Matter, a co-cultural analysis of political discourse on campus. Now, what is that? Well, it's a study that we wanted to examine how students on a college campus interact and communicate with political discourse, specifically involving professors and their peers. And we wanted to do this through the lens of Mark Orbe's co-cultural theory. The point of this was because honestly, we'd experienced marginalization. We'd experienced feeling like we couldn't truly give our opinions when the topic of politics came up for fear of backlash or retribution. And we wanted to know, are other people feeling this as well? So our goal using Orbe's co-cultural theory was to examine specifically the communication strategies and orientations these students may use so that we had firm backing to understand that this is something that's real. But to do that, we needed ideals to guide our research. And to that, we created research questions. The first one was, what communication strategies do students enrolled in universities use to communicate with their peers and professors when politics are discussed in class? The second research question was, what communication strategies do students employ to hide their political views in a classroom where there is a professor who promotes a specific political ideology? Now, just because we had research questions guiding it didn't mean we didn't need to look in the past first. We did a literature review to understand what research came before us and to help guide us along and understand the importance of this study. And we discovered three main themes in past research that makes this study important. Identity politics being on the rise, for one. Identity politics is the belief that your political beliefs are based on your gender, race, or socioeconomic status. And that's rising, and we want to understand, why do people believe that? We also noticed that there's been an uprise in college-aged voters. Now, this just means that all over the US, people our age are getting involved in politics, and so that makes this vital to understand, why can we not talk about it? We also discovered that there's an ideal that free speech is at risk across America. And so we wanted to dive in thinking that this was something important. And to do that, we needed to get results. But to get results, we had to have a method. And so we used a phenomenological approach in our study. What this meant is that we were just focusing on shared experiences between co-researchers. Who all experienced what, and how does it interact with each other? And so we sat down and we got IRB approval, and we did 10 face-to-face interviews with co-researchers. Now, when we did this, we gave full anonymity and we disclosed all the information that IRB had given us, and they let them know that they would be anonymous and that they could speak freely. So once we had done those 10 interviews, we looked at our results and we split our co-researchers into two groups based on which political alignment they identified with. Now, for conservatives, we noticed that there were themes of being uncomfortable and listening but not speaking. And with liberal aligned students, we noticed that there was a theme of uncomfortable again and tuning other students out. And it was super interesting to see that both, no matter the political alignment, experienced uncomfortability. One student, Sammy, a liberal aligned student, said that they wish they didn't feel uncomfortable, but still they did. And so that brings us to looking at our data and figuring out, what does this mean in terms of Orbe's co-cultural theory? And so we looked at it and we decided to really take these themes and apply them. That as we looked at conservative students, we realized that 83% of conservative students most likely aligned with non-assertive assimilation as a communication orientation, and 75% of liberal students aligned with non-assertive separation. This means that people are running away from this subject, and it's time that we look further into the future and figure out how to make political discourse a common thing and a positive thing on the college campus.